Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our interim board meeting. The date is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here, investing your time and energy in our district. It's a big week. I'm not going to steal all your thunder, but spring sports kicked off. We've got the musical coming up at the high school. There's a health fair on Wednesday that I hope everyone attends. And for the board members, we have policy committee, we have finance committee. So it's a big week. So let's get right into the action so we can get to the other action outside this meeting. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading of the mission statement. Ms. Hubler.
The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community.
And let's do roll call. Ms. Green.
Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Dr. Etlin.
Here.
Mrs. Green.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley.
Here.
Mrs. Hughes. Mrs. Slapinski.
Here.
Dr. Taratusky. Mr. Bedard.
Here. And I'll share just one announcement. The board at its discretion may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006 meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoons following each board meeting. And we will start tonight with some reports and information. First up is our Academic Affairs Committee report from Dr. Carol Adlin.
At 5 p.m. and in attendance were Ms. Carla Green, Dr. Yannicone, Dr. Johnston, Dr. McLaurin, Mr. Fuller, Dr. Rittenhouse, and Dr. Zagan. And we also had our student representative, Issa Shaw. We discussed many an update. And first we began with the program of studies for the 2023-2024 academic year. Dr. Rittenhouse and Dr. Zagan reviewed the proposed program of study for the coming year and highlighted updates, changes, and the process to create these. There is more information about the high school program and routines to increase information sharing to families and students about our school and the program. Additional revisions included clarifying course descriptions and content to make it accessible to all students and families. The document has been moved to a dynamic version in PDF and is available in English, Spanish, and Chinese for our families. Also were discussed were course planning and some recommendation. This year, the administrative and counseling teams will work to provide more detailed information to students about course selections and course offerings. Grade level meetings will be coordinated and held during lunch and learn through March for students in grades 9 through 11. Additional information will be made available to current 8th grade students and families. During the meeting, it was recommended that the course selection and recommendations process be shared with the parents of family organizations such as MPA and the secondary HSP to make sure they are all aware of the changes and available resources in making these decisions. New course proposals were also discussed. In math, a new 3D and industrial design course. While completing mathematical exercises and projects, students will learn principles of graphic, industrial, and architectural design, applying these principles with problem-solving strategies to develop creative solutions to real-world problems. While this course is grounded in mathematics, this comprehensive math elective will also develop and rely heavily on communication skills, artistic representation, and productive collaboration. Additionally, the AP Pre-Calculus proposed course was also discussed. In AP Pre-Calculus, students explore everyday situations and phenomena using mathematical tools and lenses. Through regular practice, students will build deep mastery of modeling and functions and they examine scenarios through multiple representation. They will also learn how to observe, explore, and build mathematical meaning from dynamic systems, an important practice for thriving in an ever-changing world. Thereby, students work to gain a deeper understanding of the nature and behavior of each function taught. Also discussed was the social studies civics course. In this course, civics will introduce the students to the rights and the responsibilities that come with American citizenship. This course examines such topics as the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the structure of the government, the Bill of Rights, political parties, voting, civic ideals and practice, and the media and politics. This course is now being recommended to move from a 0.5 credit to a full credit. Additionally, social studies course sequence was discussed for the class of 2027. Proposed is realigning the secondary social studies course sequence to begin with civics upon entering into the high school in grade 9. This shift would only apply to the class of 2027 moving forward. Also discussed was the mid-year data review and analysis. Administrators from each school provided an update and overview of the recent mid-year benchmarking in grades K through 9. And the fall results from the PSAT for the junior 11th grade class. Each principal provided an update and overview on their progress toward the action plans they shared in the fall of 2022. Overall, there is an upward trend in performance information. We have added linked benchmark assessment in mathematics in grades K to 2 and continue to surpass state levels in the PSAT performance in the high school. Spring will bring the pre-ACT Keystone results from winter 2023 and Keystone administration for spring courses, as well as PSSA testing in grades 3 through 8. These data results are used by building and district administrators to help target interventions, engage in appropriate curriculum review, and student-based needs and strengths. An update on spring performance will be shared closer to the end of the year. We did have 2 members from the public in attendance, but there were no public comments shared during that meeting. The next meeting date will be tentatively sometime in April, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. Any comments or questions on the academic affairs report? Well done. We'll head into administrative reports. I'll turn it over to Dr. Inico.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bedard. I'll begin with student news. The Springfield Township Middle School and High School advisories and Sustainability Club leaders met with our township planning members and Commissioners Cobb and Ratzavong on March 2nd and 3rd to hear a proposed plan for increasing trail systems in the township. Students were very excited and engaged and offered feedback on the plan, including a number of ideas and considerations the township team had not previously heard. We are grateful to the township for inviting our students into the discussion and look forward to future opportunities to partner with the township. This year, we had 18 Spartans participate in the state DECA competition at Hershey, Pennsylvania. They were required to do 2 role plays in front of judges, as well as complete a 100-question test. Of the 18 students who represented the district, we had 3 medallion winners, and 2 of those students earned the right to participate in nationals this April in Orlando. Close to 3,000 students attended states from an original pool of over 5,000 participants at the district level across the state. Our medallion winners are Jack Sharp in Business Services Marketing and Kaz Kiguchi in Automobile Services Marketing and Ben Luce in Hotel and Lodging Management. Event winners were Jack and Kaz. This is Jack's 2nd year achieving this honor, and we have only had the club for 2 years. We wish Jack and Kaz very well next month. In April, they will be in Orlando at Nationals. And I also want to thank Del Levin, their advisor, who's done just a terrific job of getting the club up and running. We have over 100 high school students involved in DECA this year. We're also very proud to announce that we had several students, 3 of our visual arts students, have artwork that has been juried into the 36th annual Touch the Future art show at the Montgomery County Community College. Montana Wright, Janiyah Price, and Celia Wright all have artwork in the show, which is on display now at the community college, and will be through next month. And finally, in student news, I want to share that Morgan Cap, one of our kindergarten teachers, her class, as part of our Black History Month recognition at Enfield, studied, each of our classes studied different authors and different major figures in global Black history. And this year, Morgan Cap's class studied Vice President Kamala Harris and read her book, Superheroes Are Everywhere. After reading the book, the students decided to write a letter to Dr. Harris, and the letter was selected this week in the Vice President's weekly national newsletter. And so you can go to the Vice President's website and you can see our students' artwork as well as their letter on display. It's a big honor for us, and the students and Mrs. Cap were very excited to have been selected by the Vice President and her team. And I also want to share that the high school has started a first responders club with students who serve as volunteers in our local fire companies and those with an interest in service in the future. Members of the board may remember that we have been asked by the fire company to help them to really raise interest in joining local fire companies because they've been struggling. And so thus far, we already have almost tripled their student volunteers just in this first year in partnership. And so one of the things we decided to do was start a first responders club. Next week on March 16th, our high school team will host the first ever first responders appreciation event at the high school during our lunch and learn. Food and drink is being donated by our local Wawa, and students from the middle school and Erdenheim will also be invited in an extended hour to visit the many local first responders who will be available along Springfield Way. They are bringing their trucks and other resources to be able to share with students at the high school, at the middle school, and at Erdenheim. I really want to thank our supervisor of campus safety, who's always here with us at board meetings, Mr. Chinta, for taking a leadership role in bringing the new club to our students. They're very excited about ways to collaborate with our township groups, our local fire companies, and to raise interest and awareness of our students and the importance of civic engagement, in particular as local volunteers. And then in district news, the Pennsylvania Department of Education yesterday announced that it had awarded more than $2.7 million in grant funding to 130 local education agencies across the Commonwealth. There are over 600 in the Commonwealth. They've allowed us, and we are one of those 130 LEAs, to purchase new food service equipment for cafeterias. So our district was awarded new equipment valued at nearly $24,000. And I want to thank our Assistant Business Administrator, Sam Jenko, for her work in submitting the grant and making sure that we had all of our I's dotted and T's crossed so we could receive those funds. We're also excited and happy to introduce Katrina Tui, who is a representative here from Giant. She is here because we have been recognized as a recipient of Giant's Feeding School Kids Roundup program. And thanks to Giant's support, we are going to receive a check tonight for $8,191.74 to grow our school programs. So Katrina, I want to thank you for being here. And if you want to speak a little bit about the program, we're happy to hear from you. You can just use that microphone. It's right there on the table.
Thank you for all your support. This is the roundup money that they ask you if you want to donate when you're finished paying for your grocery bills. And this is how much money we collected in the last year. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your support. We're hiring if any of your children.
And we're going to come around.
Okay. Thank you. All right, you're welcome.
Yeah, I can't come.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you.
And that right to our business administrator. All right, and before our Spartan Spotlight, my final district news is that kindergarten registration opened in January for September 2023, and we are thrilled that so many families have been really proactive and have already registered their children for the fall. Last year at this point, we had about 70 students enrolled, and this year we are already over 100. So either it's going to be a really big kindergarten or parents are doing a great job of getting to us early. Parents of students who plan to enroll in kindergarten in the fall for the high school class of 2036, that's who we're enrolling right now, can register your child through our website. And we're happy to see you anytime this spring. You don't have to wait till the fall to register. And finally, we have our Spartan Spotlight tonight. I want to thank Mrs. Brady, our vice principal at the middle school, and Lori Pinelli, our girls basketball coach, for joining us. Mrs. Pinelli and I had a great opportunity to spend a lot of time together last week on the 8th grade field trip. We sat right with each other on those 6 hours on the bus. And so Mrs. Brady is going to talk a little bit about middle school athletics tonight.
So I have a few announcements before I get to honor the students that I brought today. This middle school sports, spring sports will be starting. All of our sports team will start by the end of the month. We're a little behind the high school, which is nice. We get to let them get started. And we're excited that this spring we will be having a new program, which will be our unified sports team. We will be starting bocce this spring. Miss Sheehan and Miss Doherty will be our coaches, and we are excited they'll start recruiting next week and have another team added to our sports repertoire. And we're excited to follow in the high school's footsteps, who have such a strong unified program and are a champion school, and we can hope we can follow their leadership there. Other exciting news is that on April 13th, we'll be having our grand opening of the Church Road Fields. So everyone can come out. We will be having 2 softball games going on, and our lacrosse program will be out there. We'll have some singers. We'll have some of our bands, have some pomp and circumstance for all the hard work that everyone put in to our new fields. So winter sports. It's been a while, guys. Our girls basketball program finished up actually before Christmas break and that holiday break. So, but we had some great other mentions besides our 8th grade team. Our middle school boys basketball team worked very hard. They had a season that was a little bit up and down, but we had some really close games, some buzzer beaters and double overtime against Colonial, which was very exciting. But they were recognized as the NCAA League Sportsmanship Award for our boys basketball team. So I'm very, very proud of them. We had 2 students, Michael Etter and Jeffrey Gaboni, receive 3rd place in their weight class for our wrestling and league tournament. Both of our girls basketball teams made it to the finals of the small bracket tournament. And tonight I'm going to recognize our 8th grade basketball team, who had a strong season under the leadership of Coach Pinelli. They were the top seeded in the small bracket tournament. In the semifinals, they beat Keith Valley 33-11 to advance to the finals against Cedarbrook with a final score of 38-22. We are very proud of you and hope you continue your basketball careers up at the high school. I know Mr. Giordano and Mr. Ferraro are very excited to see you guys up at the high school next year. So I have certificates for you tonight, and we'll be receiving our trophy later this week. Okay. So first we have Caroline Doherty, Mary Kate Gary, Julia Gichtow, Lucy Hershey, Lila Kerr, Emma Meller, Caitlin Scollin, Annika Spratt, and Olivia Welsh. Congratulations, ladies. And I hope to see all of you out on the fields this spring.
I'd just like to echo Mrs. Brady's comments, and I want to first of all thank Mrs. Pinelli for your leadership and coaching the team. I want to thank all the parents who are here tonight. I know that it's challenging sometimes to work around your family schedules, basketball practices and game schedules. And for the students who had such a successful season, I want a little known, maybe it's likely little known. So I played basketball all through grade school and high school. I was a basketball coach for years before I became a high school principal. It is by far my favorite sport. It's a great one to watch. I watched a heartbreaker last night in the NCAA final or Big East final with Villanova falling to UConn. But I'll be happy to watch them in the NCAAs in a few weeks. And I do hope that, as Mrs. Brady said, you give us a good hard look at the high school. We really would love to have the girls come up to the high school and play basketball for us and stay with us for the next 4 years. We support whatever decision you make, but we'd love to have you with us at the high school. And thank you very much for all your hard work this season. And as I said to your parents before the meeting started, I know that you are student athletes and the word student comes first. So I'm going to let you go and you don't have to be here for the rest of this meeting so that you can go home and get your homework done and get some rest before tomorrow. Parents, thanks very much. Mr. Bedard, that concludes my report.
Let's give everybody a minute to clear the room. Congrats, guys. Congrats. Well, that was an awesome update. Great seeing our student athletes honored. And, you know, we talked about making sure that we're involved deeply in the community. And I love seeing the first responder work, but I didn't realize you were going to get us on the national stage. We did DECA Nationals, Vice President Harris and the kindergarten class. I mean, that's pretty incredible. It's been a good week. Good week.
Yeah.
Good week. Any comments or questions, guys, on the updates from Dr. Iannacone or our Spartan Spotlight? Great. We will then move on to public comments for agenda items. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Needham.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. I'll start with just a couple of reminders. We do have a 3-minute time limit for anyone who wants to make a comment, and please let us know before you make a comment where you live in the district. I don't see anyone signed up to make a comment in person, and I don't see any hands raised online either. So maybe you want to give it a minute for the folks online, but it doesn't look like there's anyone who has signed up at this point.
Anyone online, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll just give you another quick minute here. Okay, we can jump right into our agenda for this evening. First up, we have our personnel and HR contracts. Item 1. The Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: certified personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities for 22-23 school year, as well as 23 and 24 school year, and then conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion? And a second? Any comments or questions on the personnel file? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I'll pass. Moving to academic affairs. We have one item, a student settlement agreement. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the student settlement agreement for student 202-303-07-01 for the administrative file attachment. Is there a motion? And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions on the settlement? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Settlement agreement will pass. Moving to our finance section, we have the acceptance of the donation from the Giant Company. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors accepts the donation from the Giant Company to support the food service program in the amount of $8,191.74. Is there a motion? And a second? Any comments or questions? I will, on behalf of the board, just again, thank the Giant Company for their program to support local programs and our school district, and graciously and thankfully accept the donation of $8,191.74. Thank you, guys. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will accept the donation. Next, an authorization to proceed. The recommended action. Board of School Directors authorizes administration to work with PFM Financial Advisors, LLC, as financial advisor, Fox Rothschild, LLP, as bond counsel, and the local solicitor in conjunction with the issuance of general obligation bonds, series of 2023, via a competitive internet auction to fund various capital projects in the amount of $9,995,000. Is there a motion? And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the authorization to proceed? Very good. We'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You have authorization to proceed. Next, Riverside Technologies. A recommended action is the Board of School Directors approves the purchase 20 Lenovo Legion 5 gaming notebooks in the amount of $34,980 under CoStar's contract number NCPA 01-97. Is there a motion? And a second. Any comments or questions?
Just curious what the, I'm sure gaming is just the name, unless we're starting a new club. We're doing Bitcoin.
It's not just the name. These are the computers for our esports program.
Oh,
And Mr. Oliver did a great job researching for us to be able to provide these computers. We've renovated a space in the high school, and the students are going to be able to use them not only during lunch and learn as they're practicing for competition, but also during competitions. Did I miss anything, Mr. Oliver? Thumbs up.
great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Gaming computers are approved. Congrats. No policy property updates for this evening. So we'll open it up for public comment on any non-agenda items. Again, I'll turn it over to Mr. Needleman.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. Again, I'll briefly note, if you wish to make a comment, please keep it limited to 3 minutes so we can get everybody in, and please let us know where you live in the district. That said, though, no one has signed up in person to speak on a non-agenda item, and I don't see any hands raised online. To echo Mr. Bedard's comment before, if you do wish to make a comment on a non-agenda item, please raise your hand so we can see you. And that said, I don't see any hands.
With no public comment on non-agenda items, we'll do announcements. We have future meeting dates. Our future board meeting dates include the regular board meeting coming up later this month on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. Continue to be hybrid. Our next regular board meeting following that will be Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, also hybrid. Reminder that all of these meetings, if you attend in person, and we'd love to see you here, is in the Audion located in the middle school next to the cafeteria. Future committee meeting dates, as I previewed, busy week. On Wednesday, March 8th at 4 p.m., we will have a policy committee meeting. It is a virtual only meeting. And on Thursday, March 9th at 8 a.m., we'll have our finance committee meeting, also virtual. Public is welcome to attend these meetings and make comments. All details can be found on the district website. With that, before I adjourn, want to just open up if there are any comments or questions from this evening's proceedings or any of the board members. All right, and Dr. Yannicone, any closing comments?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
Wonderful, efficient meeting, great to honor some students and get back out there to enjoy the community. Thanks for coming, everybody.